Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a two-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.
All right, everyone, let's get ready for today's deep dive. And today we're heading out to Kingman, Arizona.
Okay.
But we're not going to be talking about the usual Route 66 stuff this time.
Oh, interesting.
We're going to be focusing on a blog post by Jim Hinckley about all the hiking and biking trails around Kingman.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that post.
Yeah, he highlights some amazing spots that most people wouldn't even know about.
It's true. Most folks just think of like the neon signs and diners when they think about Kingman.
Exactly. But there's a whole other side to the area that's just begging to be explored.
Yeah, a side with some incredible natural beauty and a really rich history.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to be uncovering today.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so the two main spots that Jim highlights in his blog post are the Surbit Foothills Recreation Area, which is also called the CFRA.
Right.
And the White Cliffs Wagon Road.
Yeah, those are both really cool areas.
And he talks about how both of these places offer trails for everyone, from like leisurely strolls to challenging climbs.
Absolutely. There's something for everyone out there.
Yeah. So let's start with the CFRA.
Okay, that's good.
So Jim paints this really vivid picture in his blog post of this like rugged desert landscape.
Yeah.
With all these really interesting rock formations and just these sweeping vistas.
Yeah.
And he even mentions a spot called Monolith Gardens.
Oh, yeah.
You ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah. Monolith Gardens is incredible. It's like a mini monument valley right there in Kingman.
Oh, wow. So it's got those like towering rock formations.
Exactly. Just like those iconic landscapes, but on a smaller scale.
Okay. That is definitely going on my bucket list now.
You should go.
I will. And so the blog post also mentions a few specific trails that are worth checking out.
Oh, yeah. Which ones?
So there's the Monolith Garden Trail, which is a 7.3-mile loop.
Okay.
And it's rated as moderate difficulty.
Oh, nice. So it's a good workout, but not too strenuous?
Yeah, I think that would be the perfect way to really like immerse yourself in that landscape.
Absolutely. And you get to see all those incredible rock formations up close.
Yeah, exactly. And then for those who are looking for something a little more challenging, there's the Castle Rock Trail, which is shorter. It's only 2.2 miles.
Okay.
But it's a much steeper climb.
I see.
And it's rated as challenging.
Okay, but I bet the views from the top are amazing.
Oh, yeah. It says that you get panoramic views of the entire Surbot Mountains.
Wow. Yeah, that would be worth the climb.
Definitely. But what really caught my eye about the CFRA is how some of the trails actually intertwine with history.
Oh, yeah. How so?
So some of them actually follow the paths of historic roads.
Really?
Yeah, like the Mojave Prescott Road and old US 466.
Wow, that's so cool.
So you could be hiking and literally be walking in the footsteps of pioneers and travelers who came before you.
It's like a living history lesson right there on the trail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of history, Jim also mentions Beale Springs in his blog post.
Oh, yeah, Beale Springs.
Yeah, this desert oasis has such a layered past.
Yeah, it's seen a lot over the years.
It was a military outpost at one point, then it was an internment camp, and then even later it was a hotel complex.
That's right. It's crazy to think about all the different chapters of history that have unfolded in that one spot.
It really is, and it's such a testament to how history can be found in even the most like unexpected places.
It is. You never know what stories are hidden just beneath the surface.
Exactly. And Jim, being the awesome guy that he is, he includes really detailed directions to all 4 of the CFRA trailheads in his blog post.
Oh, that's great. So people can actually go and find these places.
Yeah, he gives directions for the Coyote Pass trailhead, the Metwell trailhead, the Camp Beale Loop trailhead, and the Badger trailhead.
He really wants people to experience these places for themselves.
He does. He's all about making these hidden gems accessible to everyone.
Which I love. It's not about keeping these places secret. It's about sharing them and inspiring others to explore.
Exactly. So now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the White Cliffs Wagon Road.
Okay. Yeah, that's another fascinating spot.
So this trail is like steeped in history.
Yeah.
It dates back to the late 19th century.
Okay.
and it was originally used to connect the mining camp of Stockton to the railhead in Kingman.
Wow. So it was a major thoroughfare back in the day.
It was. And you can still see the deep ruts in the stone from the wagon wheels.
Oh, wow. I bet that's pretty incredible to see in person.
It is. It's like you're walking right through history.
It's like those ruts are telling the story of all the people and goods that traveled along that road.
Exactly. And the main trail along the old wagon road is about 2.5 miles.
Okay.
So it's a pretty manageable hike for most people.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice afternoon stroll.
Yeah, but you can also combine it with other trails in the area if you're looking for a longer adventure.
Oh, cool. So there are options for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that's really cool about the White Cliffs Wagon Road is that it offers such a variety of experiences.
Oh, yeah, like what?
So you can choose to follow the canyon floors, which are relatively flat and easy to hike. Or you can challenge yourself with the summit trails, which offer these breathtaking views of Kingman
Oh, wow.
and the Servat Mountains and the Hualapai Mountains and the Hualapai Valley.
So you can really get a sense of the vastness of the landscape.
You can. It's
Yeah.
pretty incredible. And just like with the CFRA, Jim provides really detailed directions to the 3 trailheads for the White Cliffs Wagon Road.
Oh, good. That's always helpful.
Yeah, so one of the trailheads is actually located at the historic Mojave County Courthouse.
Oh, cool.
And it even has a scenic overlook and a picnic area.
Oh, that's awesome. So you can have lunch with a view.
You can. It sounds perfect,
It
right?
does.
And speaking of Jim, I think we should talk a little bit about his website.
Oh, yeah, Jim Hinckley's America.
Yes. You can find it at www.jimhinkleysamerica.com.
I've spent a lot of time on that site.
Me too. His blog is just a treasure trove of travel inspiration.
It is. He's got such a passion for the American road, and it really comes through in his writing.
And he does such a great job of blending history and storytelling with his personal experiences.
It's like you're right there with him on his adventures.
Exactly. And for those who want even more Jim, he also has a podcast.
Oh, yeah. Coffee with Jim.
That's the one. It's a must listen for anyone who enjoys road trips and history and just good old-fashioned storytelling.
It's a great way to get your Jim Hinckley fix.
It is. And speaking of supporting Jim and his work, we should also give a shout out to his sponsors.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're the ones who make all of this possible.
They are. And each sponsor has such a unique connection to Route 66 and the world of travel.
Oh, I'm sure. Who are some of them?
Okay, so first up, we have the Roadrunner Lodge Motel in Tucumcari, New Mexico.
Oh, cool. I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's this really cool motel that offers a totally nostalgic Route 66 experience.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's got all this like 1960s vintage charm, but with modern comforts.
That sounds like the perfect place to stay if you're exploring Route 66.
It does. And then we have the Cactus Inn Motel in McLean, Texas. This one's a quaint little family-owned motel.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, and it's a renovated 1950s gem.
Wow, that sounds charming.
It is. And then for a truly historic stay, there's the Wagon Wheel Motel in Cuba, Missouri.
Okay.
This motel is one of the oldest continuously running motels on Route 66.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. It's like a piece of living history.
I bet it has some great stories to tell.
Oh, I'm sure it does. And then if you're looking for help planning your next road trip, there's Route Trip USA.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they specialize in bespoke road trip planning.
So they can help you create a custom itinerary.
Exactly. They'll work with you to figure out your interests, and then they'll plan the perfect trip for you across the USA and Canada.
That sounds amazing. It takes all the stress out of planning.
It does. And then lastly, we have the Enchanted Trails Trading Post and RV Park in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh.
This one's a really cool blend of history and modern amenities.
Oh, how so?
So it's built around this historic 1940s trading post,
Right.
but it also has a modern RV park.
Oh, cool. So you get the best of both worlds.
Exactly. So those are just a few of the sponsors who are helping to keep
Yeah.
Jim's work alive.
Well, it's great to see businesses supporting his mission.
It is. And if you're interested in reaching an international audience of road trip enthusiasts, you should definitely consider becoming a sponsor of Jim Hinckley's America.
Yeah, it's a great way to support someone who's sharing the beauty and history of the American road.
Exactly.
So are we ready to move on to part 2 of our deep dive?
Let's do it.
Yeah, it really is inspiring to see that kind of support.
It is. So I'm curious, at all the trails we talked about today, which one really stood out to you?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know, right? There's so many cool options.
There are, but I think for me, it's the White Cliffs Wagon Road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just the history of it, those Those deep ruts in the stone that were made by wagons over 100 years ago.
I know, it's just incredible to think about.
It really is. You're not just hiking there. You're like walking in the footsteps of history.
Exactly. It's like those trails are whispering stories.
They are. And Jim does such a great job of bringing those stories to life.
He really does. He's like a modern-day storyteller.
He is. He makes you want to grab your hiking boots and just hit the road.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Speaking of hitting the road, have you ever been to Kingman yourself?
I have, actually. I went a few years ago.
Oh, cool. What did you think?
I loved it. It's such a charming little town.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go.
You should. It's definitely worth a visit.
I think after this deep dive, it's officially moved to the top of my travel list.
Good. You won't regret it.
I'm sure I won't. So what are some of the things that you did when you were there?
Well, of course, I had to check out some of those hiking trails.
Yeah, which ones did you do?
I did the Monolith Garden Trail.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was a little bit challenging in parts, but the views were totally worth it.
I bet. Did you do any of the trails on the White Cliffs Wagon Road?
I didn't that time, but I definitely want to go back and do those.
Yeah, they sound really cool.
They do.
Yeah.
And I also spent some time exploring the town itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Kingman has a really cool downtown area with lots of historic buildings and shops.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It is. And there's also a great museum there, the Mojave Museum of History and Arts.
Oh, cool. I love visiting local museums when I travel.
Me too. You can learn so much about a place that way.
Exactly.
And the Mojave Museum is really well done. They have exhibits on everything from the Native American history of the area to the mining boom to Route 66.
Wow, so you can really get a comprehensive overview of Kingman's past.
You can. It's definitely worth checking out.
I'll add it to my list.
And of course, no trip to Kingman would be complete without sampling some of the local cuisine.
Oh, yeah. What's the food scene like there?
It's actually pretty diverse. They have everything from classic diners and steakhouses to authentic Mexican restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
And there are even a few upscale places if you're looking for something a little fancier.
Now you're making me hungry.
Sorry, but seriously, the food in Kingman is really good. You won't be disappointed.
I'm definitely going to have to do some research on the best foodie spots before I go.
I can send you some recommendations if you want.
Oh, that would be awesome. Thank you.
No problem. So, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay, sounds good.
What have we learned about Kingman so far?
Well, I think it's safe to say that Kingman is much more than just a stop along Route 66.
Absolutely. It's a destination in its own right.
Exactly. It's a place where you can experience history and nature and adventure all in one.
And it's a place that's full of surprises.
It is. You never know what you're going to find around the next bend.
That's what makes it so exciting.
So what should our listeners do if they're thinking about planning a trip to Kingman?
Well, first of all, I would say check out Jim Hinckley's blog post and website.
Yes, that's a great place to start.
He provides all the information you need about the hiking and biking trails in the area.
And he also has lots of other great travel tips and recommendations.
He does. And I would also recommend doing some research on the town itself.
Yeah, there's so much to see and do in Kingman.
There is. And don't be afraid to get off the beaten path and explore.
That's where you'll find the real hidden gems.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes you realize that you don't always have to travel far to find adventure.
Right.
Sometimes it's right in our own backyards.
Exactly. And I think Kingman is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, we think of Route 66, we think of like Kish and nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
But then you dig a little deeper and you find this whole other layer of history and natural beauty.
It's true. It's like there's this hidden world just waiting to be discovered.
And that's what I love about exploration. It's
Yeah.
about going beyond the surface level and really uncovering what makes a place unique.
Absolutely. And I think Jim Hinckley does a fantastic job of capturing that spirit.
He does. He's not just telling you where to go.
Right.
He's inspiring you to look closer.
Exactly. He's like, hey, there's more to this than meets the eye.
And he's so right. So to our listener, if you're ever feeling that urge to explore, to get out there and discover something new, think about adding Kingman to your list.
It's a great choice.
It is. Lace up those hiking boots, grab a map, and let Jim Hinckley be your guide.
You won't regret it.
You won't. And hey, if you do end up going to Kingman and you discover your own hidden gem, let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. We're always looking for new adventures.
Until next time, keep exploring and happy trails.
Happy trails.
Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a 2-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.